Welcome to People at Work. I'm Amanda Dundas, and I'm pleased to be speaking with Sachin Jain, Director of Global Talent Management at PepsiCo. Sachin, welcome.
Thank you, Amanda. Happy to be here.
So the Wall Street Journal recently ran an article claiming that the annual employee survey should be dropped, mostly because too many employees don't take the survey and too many leaders don't act on the results. Do you agree with this assessment?
Yeah, Amanda, that's an interesting article. And it raises some very good questions, but I do not agree that employee surveys do not have a future. Some of the things that the article raises, like you mentioned, that employees don't take the survey, or even before that, what is engagement and does it impact performance, or areas around who acts on them, are the right questions. But I believe saying that employee surveys should be stopped is like throwing a baby with the bathwater. And therefore, these are right questions that one needs to deal with and look at the right solution. And I definitely believe surveys are part of the solution.
What do you think the role of the employee survey is in today's world?
That's an interesting question, Amanda. These days, when all of us are locked down in our homes largely and working remotely, employee listening, I would say, not so just surveys, listening to our employees is extremely essential. And to me, the key purpose of that is to ensure that we take our employees along. Everyone is so disconnected socially. Everyone is having their own reality at their homes. And therefore, listening is an important part of building that collective and making sure we are moving ahead in a direction of organization together versus everyone sitting in their homes and thinking, what do we do?
I love that imagery of the employee survey as a way of connecting with one's employees. Can you talk a little bit about how PepsiCo uses employee surveys to both drive change but also connect with their employees?
Yeah, no, absolutely, Amanda. And I would say the questions that the article raised, the Wall Street Journal article that you referred to raised, are the right questions. And we address those questions with a strategy that we call intelligent listening at PepsiCo. And therefore, very early on, we went into linkage work to figure out what are the items or what are the things that we should be asking our employees through our surveys, which are directly connected or predictive of performance and attrition. So that's the first part. We therefore answer that question, whether engagement matters or not, and came out with the kind of items or a set of items which really predict performance. And therefore said, okay, if our employees feel more engaged based on the items that we have or the definition that we have, then we clearly know that they perform better at PepsiCo. So that's the first part that we addressed. Second, I would say, is really around anonymity, trust, response rate. Again, that cannot be built overnight. And therefore, we have a long-standing practice in PepsiCo where we maintain the confidentiality of results. Our employees trust us, and therefore, even for very, very quick surveys, which when you want to have a quick pulse and you have a couple of weeks, we always see our response rates upwards of 60%. And for our annual surveys, these response rates are much higher. So our employees trust that the data would be used appropriately and for making PepsiCo a better place to work rather than any other purpose. And therefore, we have addressed that question which was raised there about anonymity or response rate. The third thing, which lends its name to intelligent surveys or intelligent listening program, as I mentioned, is the usage of technology. Now, the article also states that there are lots of new technologies like NLP and other pieces which can be complementary to a survey program. And therefore, we have worked through that process to ensure that our surveys are intelligent. Not only we are getting quantitative data through the normal survey program, we complement it with all other listening methods that were defined in the article. And obviously, when you say that these are complementary, they are all related to what is the objective of a particular survey. You do not go and start analyzing a chat room if you are not clear about what's the objective. So therefore, intelligent listening, therefore, to ensure that uh, our survey program is complementary of qualitative stuff and also quantitative to listen to our employees holistically. And last thing I would say is about responsibility, is about assignment. Based on the strategy or the objective of the survey, who's responsible to take action after the survey results come in? That's, I think, a key to success for any survey program or any listening program. And therefore, we have clearly defined responsibilities on who would act, how can they act, how would we track those actions, how would we nudge those leaders or managers to act to ensure that there is a closure of the loop for an employee, and thereby constantly building on that trust that we have established with the employee. So I would say this is the way we do it at PepsiCo, and we call it intelligent listening because we use all the technology available of the day, and then we ensure that the loop is closed with the employee by taking appropriate action rather than leaving it open.
It sounds like from what you're saying, the article was almost focused on sort of generic surveys or survey for the sake of surveying. But it sounds like from what you're saying now, the difference at PepsiCo is that you're being very thoughtful and strategic in what questions you're asking and what you're doing with that data. Is that correct?
Absolutely, Amanda. Like I said, I love the first part of that article, which was raising the right questions. But I thought after that article, after the initial set of questions, the article became lazy and was defining solutions which has the same challenges. If you go and apply NLP on a chat room, you would have same challenges if you have not thought through the set of questions that the article asked initially. And other piece that I have a big disconnect with from the article is if you use chat rooms or you use these technologies, then you do not provide every employee an opportunity to speak up because not everyone would go to that chat room. Not everyone would have their voice on these online media. And therefore, how do you ensure in these times when people are so disconnected that you are, taking them along with you and having their collective voice on the table? So to me, the questions raised in the articles are right, but the solution is not do away with survey or go with one technology. Solution is much more nuanced to think through the right strategy and thereby implementing a combination of listening strategies and a combination of technology that is available today to make sure that you achieve the purpose or you work through the strategy of your listening program.
And that's such a crucial point that we want to make sure that every employee's voice is heard. And that's so true that those types of chat rooms and external resources don't necessarily result in that. Do you have any advice for listeners looking to implement or overhaul their survey program?
Yeah, no, like I said, I think any listener who's wanting to refresh or rethink about their listening strategy, they have to focus on these questions. What's the strategy? Why are they listening? Why are they wanting to listen to their employees? So that's one. Second, what are they wanting to listen? Are they working towards listening around what are the challenges for the organization, or they want to co-develop a future strategy? So what, why? And third basic thing is about how would they close the loop? How would they ensure that whatever they have listened, they go back to their employees and tell them that, hey, based on this, we have taken XYZ action, or we have done this. Once you have clarity on these three things, what, why, and how would you close the loop? At that point in time, you have to figure out what technology you want to use. And combination of different technologies, combination of different methods in listening, whether survey, whether NLP, whether any other technique that is available, crowdsourcing, you have to define that. But these are the four things that I think should be defined appropriately. What do we want to listen? Why do we want to listen? How to close the loop, which also means who's responsible for taking action, and what is the technology that you want to use. And that would define their listening program or listening strategy.
Thanks so much, Sachin. I'm pleased to share that Sachin will be presenting at our virtual conference in September alongside his PepsiCo colleague, Kira Barden, about an employee-led performance management hack. You can find information about this conference on our website at orgvitality.com. Thanks so much for listening.